Happy Freaky Friday. 3 more hours, Bell. Listen to my voice, dude. My voice is trashed. I have no idea. Like today,
I was screaming at the TV when somebody scores.
Yeah, it was tough. It's tough. Actually, a lot of it had to do with Jack and I laughing last night. My son and I we were sending memes and stuff back to each other, back and forth, just laughing at silly stuff at the comments. And if you know anything about anything on the internet, the comments is where the true gold is. As I pointed out to Bell today, playing people who are saying the most insane thing, and you go right to the comments, you're like, this is a win. And you don't want to go there, right? You're like, you don't, but you have to.
Yeah, you do. You totally want to.
And then you go and you see the stuff that's just so funny no matter what it is, the wackadoos that are on the internet who put stuff. I'm still always amazed. It's like they go right to the internet and they just decide to put something out there. And you're like, what are you doing? And then you go look at the comments and how horrible art, and you see someone's like 37,000 likes. Just awful. Speaking of awful, what do they say? 50,000 people missing in Venezuela? Maybe more.
Yeah, I think that I read the death tolls up to 589, and that's one day.
That's
after
one day.
The
so it looked like Godzilla stormed through there. The earthquakes were, what was it they say, 39 seconds apart. They call it a doublet. Never had a doublet before. Never had one of those doublets. But there's...
I don't think you want one.
No, not like that. I mean, it's big earthquakes, but that's, look, you can complain a lot about, like, California's a perfect example, but in America, compared to the way that we build things, compared to a lot of the rest of the world, even though they're in places like Venezuela, where this is not uncommon having earthquakes. Now, this is a once-in-a-century thing. But, my God. And then the other thing, the reality of the time we live in, where everything is online, as we were just talking about, and you're watching people in the earthquake try to escape with their phone, watching this guy go down. He was on like the 12th floor and he's heading down. And every floor he goes, it gets a little bit worse and then you get to a point where there's just nothing left. And he's trying to figure out how to get out. It was, it's ferocious. I mean, we always joke about nature messing you up, but nature does whatever the hell nature wants to do. And nature said this time, it's a double whammy. And those areas right there, you could see like Curacao right across the way. I mean, this is a pretty populated area right on the ocean. So horrific. And we have sent several search and rescue teams from California. I think some from Seattle, Washington, as well as cadaver dogs, which is awful, but the reality of what's going on. And it's horrible. It is. Data centers. I want to quickly talk about it. So the debate is on about the data centers and that DC blocks, it's happening, right? They were there last night. It's happening. No, we've already done all the stuff. We've already got the contract. It's done. You're not changing anything. The reality is this is what's going to happen. And I bring that up because I was looking at old Monty has got a new commercial, and he's actually whoever's doing his social media is doing a pretty damn good job at it. I may not agree with him, but they're doing a pretty damn good job at it, and he's coming hard for Marcia. There's no mention of John Rose anywhere.
Hi there, it's Marcia Blackburn. Let me be direct. Data centers are going to be a good and important part of Tennessee's economic growth.
This is where I fill up water for storage. Those are the things we have to fill up to flush the toilets.
So you can see the sediment from the data center. Wow, and that's just from the water coming out of your faucet.
Yeah. And this is what's in all the pipes.
Because the more energy that's consumed by these data centers, the higher utility rates are going to go. Your electricity bill will increase if you have data centers nearby.
There's nothing that you can do, and they don't care.
With the Tennessee River behind me and the Clinch River to my left, it's important that we preserve this for mamas and their children and daddies and their sons to fish and enjoy, because this is part of Tennessee's heritage. and it's worth fighting for. And I intend to fight to preserve that as your governor. Vote Fritz on August 6th.
And he's doing a good job. Again, I don't agree with a lot of what he's bringing, but I will say compared to the likes of what I see with Marsha, which is not a lot, I don't see a ton of stuff. And John Rose, I mean, outside of some commercials, nothing. But he is doing an okay job. But he's making the data centers also something. This is something I've been saying for a while. It is going to be an issue in the midterms, not just here, but nationwide. Because people are looking at a lot of things. They're looking at massive companies getting huge tax breaks, moving into areas where they don't know a lot about, and they're being told stuff, which all of us have been told before, right? How many times have we been somewhere? The new stadium's going to do this for the economy. And how many times does that pan itself out? A lot? A little? So last night, back at it, because they're doing everything they can to try to figure this out. But it's too late. The reality is it's too late when it comes to being able to stop the one by the zoo.
After another lengthy discussion about the data center that is proposed to go here next to the Nashville Zoo, the Planning Commission recommended the new data center regulations and a temporary moratorium after hearing from supporters and opponents. During public comments, several speakers urged commissioners to adopt stricter rules, citing concerns about backup generators. Those concerns include air pollution, noise, and potential health impacts. The attorney for DC Block's pushback, saying the project meets all current requirements and the company is working with the Nashville Zoo to address concerns, and that the project will move forward because it already has the necessary permits. He also said the planning department and Metro Council declined to meet with the company about the proposed legislation.
Gas generators are one of the most insanely polluting tools that data centers utilize, and there are not really any regulations or restrictions on the air quality emissions from those. And so removing that creates a significant public health impact that we need to be considering.
This legislation is being driven by fear and not facts, and we need to take the time to understand the facts. One last thing, this building is vested. They're going to build it there. We already have the permits in hand.
And yeah, let's get the facts. Let's get it all out there. And don't sell the dream, but it's too late. Here's the thing. It's being driven by it's being driven by fear. Maybe. But it doesn't matter what it's driven by. All the things that everybody thinks could possibly go wrong. And we're talking about the environment, the animals and stuff. We're not talking about whether or not AI is going to come alive and eat us. But the reality is it's too late. It's already done. You just said it. This is happening, whether you like it or not. And that's modern politics. Bell and I were watching something earlier. If you guys are not watching what's going on in Albania, Kushner and them, because they've manifested all of this stuff. Well, there has been 20 straight days of tens of thousands, at times hundreds of thousands of people out there because nobody else in the country was consulted on a deal done in the back room before it was too late. I'm not saying this, but it's a fair question. Where was everybody? I mean, out of nowhere, they're like, we're going to build one next to it. And they act like, well, yeah, come on down, have your piece. We'll talk about it. We'll debate the issue. Great. Let's do that. Oh, but it's already done though, because we already got the contract and it's signed. Just to let you know.
Totally the horse is out of the barn, so let's close the door.
Yeah. Oh, the toothpaste. It's out of that thing. We're not getting that thing back in. So I'm not saying it's bad at all, because I think AI is good. It's there is a lot of fear out there, but the fear for a lot of people is what it possibly could do for jobs, what it possibly could do, lose. All those things are understandable, but that's still far away. You guys. We work on it every day. Trust me. My uncle and I were talking about the other day. Sometimes you're like, this thing's so stupid. And most people don't even know how to use it. Most people use it as a search engine of some sort. Be careful with that. But the environmental side of stuff, they said that it won't get above 65 decibels, which should be fine for the animals. Well, you don't know what animals. Again, we've talked about the bats. What about the bats? I'm going to screw with the bats. Gave us Batman. he got bit by a bat, right? Is that no? Was he a ninja?
No.
No.
He's,
That would have made a better story. I've always thought Batman was the dumbest superhero ever.
well, he's just a rich guy with a lot of
He's
toys.
a rich guy with a lot of toys. That's all he is. It's like if he has
and
enough
a very
time.
large underground cave under his mansion.
Yeah, totally. So, but the issue, let's see where Monty's going with this. It's good. It's a good thing. We'll see what happens in the future, but it's already done and dusted. So, and they've said it out loud. So your say truly means nothing. But that's why when the next, find out more about this, see what really happens. But what happens in politics today is even if it's all the things that they said it wasn't going to be, and instead it's the exact opposite, what everybody feared, doesn't matter. It's already happened. And how many times does government walk something back? We were talking the other day about the water treatment center or whatever. Matt's like, they're going to have to raise this. And then everybody's like, and then all of a sudden, we're not going to give them the money. We're not going to loan them the money. The states, we're not doing that. Did they say they were going to roll the rates back, even though they haven't started those yet? No, because once they get into something, they never let it go. Ever let it go. I hope you guys are doing well. Well, watched the soccer game last night. USA. We lost. It meant nothing. We put up a good fight against a team that was on everybody's dark horse and has a kid who is 21, Gorilla, who is an absolute beast. And we used 9 new players. None of our, outside of Pulisic, really nobody came in that was going to be playing on Wednesday night, except for maybe a cameo by 1 or 2. It was not a big deal. If we have our full team in there, we're going to boat race them. And the same thing goes for Bosnia on Wednesday. I'm not worried about that at all. Neither of those. It was a good game. It was fun. It was back and forth. It was awesome to watch. It was, if you saw the beginning of the game, it was, the anthem was amazing. It's going to be 70,000 people in Santa Clara at whatever the hell they're calling that stadium that you can't call it Levi. Although, did you see what Levi did? So for all of the stadium's sponsors everywhere, they just cover it with a white sheet. Levi cut around their thing so you could still tell it's a Levi thing. I love that. That was awesome. But we'll be fine. We'll be fine. I still think we're going to the quarterfinals because our path now looks like if we win that game in the 32, we go to the 16 game. We'll play South Korea, who have not been very good at all. And, or I forgot, it was somebody else today. I'm just like, we could take them. So we're good. We're good. All right, coming up, little Finally Friday sounds. Bunch of stuff to talk about today. Obviously, Venezuela data. We'll talk a little bit more about this later. As well as Iran. What the hell's going on there? I thought this thing was sorted out. No, we all knew it wasn't going to be sorted out the way that people thought it was going to be sorted out, and we shouldn't be surprised. And Bell's got sports, kind of maybe. He's got it down, kids.
Maybe.
That's what he's all about. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. All right, guys. Bulwark Capital is awesome. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. Why don't you talk to my friend Zach? He's an amazing guy. So your retirement, your investments, whatever it is you're doing, let me tell you what they do that is so much different. First of all, the global outlook, they talk about this all the time, is just, it's an amazing way they do things. They don't stick in ETFs and let you just go and, hey, come back in a few years, or hopefully everything's going to be okay. They position you right. Lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility. How can they give you the most upside potential? That's what it's all about with Bulwark Capital. They're going to give you a free Know Your Risk portfolio review. It's not going to cost you a penny. All you have to do is sign up for it. You can go to knowyourriskpodcast.com. That's knowyourriskpodcast.com or bulwarkcapitalmanagement.com for Bulwark Capital.
President Trump making accusations now against Iran. Also, wildfires out west are a growing threat, and many Rutherford County residents are getting a little surprise in the mail. I know I got one. Those stories coming up at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Was it a progress report?
Yeah.
I used to get some of those.
Anytime you get anything from the county, it's always about them with their hand out.
Yeah. When's the last time the county's like, hey, you know what? Here's a refund. You're doing great. Thanks
Yeah.
for living here.
Exactly.
Never.
Yeah,
Never.
we love you so much. Here's a coupon for a free pizza.
Not even that.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, we need you to pay more money. And is there any way you can pick up a pizza on the way here? That'd be super. Oh, man. Kids, this week's been all the things and then some. You know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. It's wild. It's finally Friday.
That's not a good hobby, and it's also a waste of time. And once again, go touch grass.
Last time I went in the woods, I got a Lone Star tick bite right next to my wiener.
The president's
Yeah. Cherokee A. At least there was goals. It was good. Again, I'm not worried. U.S. is going to be fine. On to the court. If you would have told, here's the funny thing. You're upset because you didn't win 3 in a row, to get out of your group. It still didn't matter. You already won the group. We could have lost 100-0. Wouldn't have changed. Because everybody knows the vast majority of those guys probably are going to see much time. But if you would have told the U.S. before the World Cup kicked off, hey, you guys are going to win your group. And you're going to only lose Turkey's going to be eliminated, and you're going to win your group, and you're going to get the rest of your games outside of the semifinals and finals if you get that far on the West Coast. They would have said, I'll take that. But they didn't. Belle and I were laughing. If you guys didn't hear that guy in the middle of it, it was hilarious.
He's in trouble.
He got a Lone Star bite right next to his wiener. What? Yeah, Lone Star tick bite. Don't get that. That was a guy that he is living in his car for the likes, and I guess for the likes. I don't know at this point in time anymore what a lot of people do. I mean, I see some people that are documenting their life, and I think, you know what? You two were trying to save up to buy a house, and I can maybe get behind that. You know, you got to this guy. I think it's just all about the likes. It's all about the likes on the gram, baby. That's what it's all about. You get those likes, woo, things start to happen. Next thing you know, are you making some money? You would like to think you're making money. Like that goalie's got, 16 million followers now? You hope you monetize that. Run with that. You don't need a ton of money to monetize either. I mean, a ton of people to monetize, but you would hope you would monetize that portion of the program. Because that's better money than he's probably going to make playing professionally somewhere, because he is not an upper echelon goalie. Although I will say, his wife, hello.
He's making enough to attract the hotties.
Yeah. Well, at one time, I'm sure he made good money. Speaking of soccer, coming up in a little bit, we've got the maybe the most exciting game of the day. We got the French, right, with Kylian Mbappe. Hello, I'm Kylian Mbappe, and the ginormous Norwegians, which are just the
who's favored?
The French. The French are favored over everybody, maybe outside of Spain.
Does Norway have a good team?
Yeah, they're good. They're another one of the dark horses, and they're good. Most of them play in the Premier League, but you're going up. The French are just, like I said, the second team in. If they split that team up, because there's 20, I think you bring 26, 23 are allowed to be on the roster. If you split them up 13-13, the second 13 would be the second favorites to win the World Cup. That's how good they are. It's kind of like me. Just kidding. Coming up, talk a little bit about Iran. What is going on with Iran? I don't know. I thought it was open. It was closed. It was open. It was closed. I couldn't. I don't think anybody really knows.
It's clopin.
It's clopin. That's right. It's a clopin. It's an open and clopin case. We'll discuss a little bit about that. Got a bunch of other good stuff. Again, when you guys text the show, you guys remember you can leave a voicemail. Got an interesting one about Marsha from a listener as well. We'll talk about that, among other things. Chad Benso, Super Talk 99.7.
31 minutes past noon. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Hang on. We'll get you a weekend weather forecast here in just a little bit. President Trump, he's now accusing Iran of violating the ceasefire agreement after Iran attacked an oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran launched 4 attack drones, 3 of which were knocked down by the U.S. A 4th drone, however, struck a cargo ship. U.S. officials say the agreement struck with Iran calls for the strait to remain open. So what the heck's going on? We try to hear what is going on from ABC's Karen Travers.
This period was meant to negotiate the really complicated issues of Iran's nuclear program, the highly enriched uranium. At this point, though, they're still dealing with the issues of keeping the strait open and what that would look like. These were things that were meant to be dealt with the memo of understanding. The White House is not giving details about the technical negotiations into those broader issues of Iran's nuclear program.
Now, back here in the States, we head out west where there are more than 36 wildfires burning in a dozen states. The situation especially dangerous in Utah. We hear now from ABC's Trevor Alt.
In Utah, the Cottonwood fire has scorched more than 70,000 acres, prompting evacuations for hundreds of people and burning down a popular ski lodge, the Eagle Point. Now, local, state, and federal agencies are all on hand trying to keep it from threatening neighborhoods. And the Iron Fire has also burnt more than 40,000 acres.
Well, if you're like me and you own a home in Rutherford County, you got a little memo in the mail. Yeah, property owners across Rutherford County are getting new assessment notices in the mail this week, and the numbers are significant. Countywide property values have grown by more than $29 billion since the last assessment back in 2022. That's a 26% increase in median property value, but that doesn't automatically mean a bigger tax bill for every homeowner. But compared to our neighbors, Rutherford County actually got off a little bit easy. Wilson County saw a 66% median increase. Davidson County jumped 45%. That's the latest news. We've got weather coming up. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
afternoon. Tomorrow is another first alert weather day. More scattered showers and thunderstorms late in the morning through the afternoon. Same risks with gusty winds, heavier downforce being the main concern. A heat index near 100 for tomorrow, then a heat index over 100 degrees Sunday and through next week.
It's going to be hot. You know what? It's going to be sticky. It's going to be wet. USS. Have them come out and give you a free inspection. It's not going to cost you anything. They're going to look at everything. You know, from the weather we've had to the non-weather we've had to the saturation of water that we're about to get and we've gotten, USS can help you make sure that those cracks don't become something they should. With water building up somewhere, you can't see it. With the fact that, you know, they know the ground. They know the air. They know the weather. They're from here. They get what this ground is like, this earth portion of us here in Middle Tennessee is all about. And you know what? They know what could happen, right? Next thing you know, you start seeing a bow. All of a sudden, your foundation's going sideways. So call USS. Have them come out. Get a 10% discount when you pay in full right now, which is awesome. So these are several different payment options. You can fix it now, pay later, 18 months, no payment, no interest, or choose 36 months, no interest, low payment options for qualified homebuyers. USS is dedicated to helping their customers get the repairs they need now to protect their greatest investment for a lifetime. They're dependable. They're trustworthy. They're USS. Give them a call, 615-488-7855, 488-7855, or online at USSTN.com. Bell, tell everybody the text line.
615-737-9986.
Not only could you text us, and you guys see, I try to get back to each and every one of you as fast as I possibly can.
And if he can't, I'll throw you a sarcastic comment.
Absolutely. Memes included and everything. And you can also leave a message via the voicemail. You can pick it up and say, oh, I'm going to leave a message.
A good message. I like what Rose is putting out. So that's who I will vote for.
Yeah, you know, I've been here almost 2 years now. And since, she announced everybody knew, because John announced first, if I'm correct. He announced early. And since she announced, she's always in the front. She's always the leader. And we never get anybody that texts and say, I'm going with her. And if they do a couple, they've been begrudgingly, it's never this enthusiastic kind of like, yeah.
I'm going to vote for Ditch just as a protest because I can't see voting for any of these guys.
No, I'm not. I mean, again, Monty, I've got some issues with Monty. We're going to play some audio later because he's got a couple, they had the white supremacy guy on the other night or whatever the hell that weirdo was with Matt. That guy was just, but Monty's got some issues too and we've talked about. I mean, he's got some issues that I feel like he's the guy that if he could, he'd take away a woman's right to vote. I got into a debate the other day with one of these, like super Christian nationalists. I want to, women shouldn't vote. I'm like, well, that sounds great. So they don't have to be taxed then, right? So we can tax you double? Because why would they work and pay taxes if they have no right to have a say over their taxes? It's like, no, I said, they still what? Why do you think we're a country? Taxation without representation and tea. There's a big thing behind the tea. He didn't like the fact the British were bringing over tea, a few of the people, because they were black market kind of guys. And there was nowhere to go with that one. But Monty, he's got some, some people that I would just got to disavow that stuff. You do.
Jason brings up a good point.
No. What'd he say? Oh, women don't need to vote. They need to make sandwiches. Dude, my buddy sends me something last night. Totally a you thing. Totally. Because yesterday in the Germany-Ecuador game, the referee was a woman, an American. And my buddy goes, do you think she's going to be in home time tonight to do the dishes? I go, Belle, is that you?
Will the game be over in time for her to get home to make dinner?
Mm-hmm. No. The answer to that was no. She actually did an okay job. I've heard some of her ads, but there's not a lot. I mean, okay, so we got one voting for Marcia. Marcia's the lazy vote. Rose is a creeper. We got Monty has my votes. Rick says he's going to vote for Blackburn. I think it seems like begrudgingly over Rose. Not thrilled by it. And I'm not going to say, Rick, what you put on here, but about 10 people yesterday said the exact same thing. Blackburn loves the camera, sound of her own voice. I wouldn't vote for either because of the weed issue. So, and Rose has a good message. Seriously, what message did you put out? I'm a CEO. I make tough decisions. Big effing deal. Everybody makes decision. So it's just, I'm trying to figure it out. Because as you say all the time, Belle, she's got 25%.
Yeah, her popularity rating as a congressperson, as a senator, 25%. And how does somebody with that low of an approval rating even come close to being the governor? The main reason she's doing it because she wants to be the first female governor. So what?
Yeah.
I'd like to have, if it's going to be a woman, could I have somebody with some skills?
Somebody's all, well, who would you unequivocally vote for? Well, let's just do it. Who do we have? Who do we have here that is running for governor that either A, has the checkbook big enough or name recognition that you might be interested in that aren't them? Who would I vote for? Batman. Man, some people got mad at me about Batman. I didn't know that was a big thing. Me talking crap about Batman.
Now, you don't attack the big ones. Don't put down Superman. Don't put down Spider-Man. Don't put down Batman. Stay away from the Fantastic Four. The X-Men, leave them alone.
No, I just thought Batman's stupid. He's just a rich guy. And here's the thing, when Batman fights, like if he fights regular people, he kicks their butt. But when he knows he's got to fight somebody bigger, he has to have days of planning. It doesn't work that way in the real world. Marsha will be almost 80 the end of her term. So put my name in the hat. No, you guys do not want me. Trust me on that. I will get bored. First, you know what? I will tell you this. I will be super honest, and I will make...
And that'll get you thrown out of office.
There you go. And I will be completely, absolutely, unequivocally me, and I will make every politician, right or left, uncomfortable by calling BS.
Chad will get bored and put a data center in the zoo.
Oh, no, well, I love that. Bob's voting for Teresa Applin. There you guys go. Because she's doing a bang-up job.
She's an incompetent.
So this will be, it's coming up fast. I mean, what do we got? 6-ish weeks? A little more than that till the primary? And obviously, they don't look like they're having a debate. What are the numbers? Do we even have any good numbers that we can look at as far as who's leading who? And if I'm Rose and I'm Monty Fritz, if she doesn't want to be there, I'm still going to have a debate, even if it's just the two of them. Do everything you can at this moment in time to separate the others. I'm still doing any debate I possibly can. 100%. Will not vote for Marsha. She gavelled in the Senate pro forma sessions. Right in Tim Burchett? I could do that. I could see that. Do you want to know how much I have faith in all of them? I'd rather see Sapicki as governor. I think Scott would do a better job. I may not always agree with him, but I think he's got a damn good heart, and I think he'd bust his ass for it.
Yeah, I don't think you can fault him on his intentions. I mean, the results may not always be what you want, but I don't think Scott has a malicious bone in his body.
No. Come on, Scott. Give up your farm. Get over to the governor's mansion.
Stop with the cows.
The cows, man. The cows. Oh, Dolly. We could write Dolly in. I mean, she's younger. Isn't she younger than
I don't know.
Marsha? What y'all think about Monty Fritz? I'm not a fan. I'm not. And I think he's probably an okay guy. I think he is. And that podcast, and Chris and I got into it over the podcast. So I listened to it. I didn't hear that. And we played the stuff that he said about, I'd like to ban this and get rid of some of that stuff. To me is just an overreach.
Less banning, more liberty.
Yeah. I mean,
let people make decisions for themselves and either reap the rewards or suffer the consequences.
And my fear, everybody always say, well, the Republicans are for less government. No. This is the way it works. They're not. First of all, they're not.
They're for different government.
They're for different big government. One group of people, especially on the Christian right, which is great. I got no problem with that, whatever. But the leaders would like to lead in a moral way that would encroach on people's liberties if given the opportunity. And the left would like to make it so government encroaches on your life to run your life outside of anything but religion. How about we have nobody do anything except the bare bones minimum? That'd be great. Chad doesn't like the candidates because he's a liberal.
Dolly's 80.
Dolly's 80. Say they'd be about the same. I'm not a liberal, though. I would never, ever, ever think about anything that the liberals at this moment in time have to offer at all. I could agree with a few of their policies, but for the most part, no thanks. They're nuts.
It's very difficult to get me to vote for a Republican. It is nigh impossible to get me to vote for a Democrat.
Yeah. I will write myself in before.
I've done that.
You know who should be whatever? Me. Mickey Mouse. Oh, boy. So let us know. Glenn Jacobs. I thought about that, too. Does he have an eye? I mean, Matt knows him really well, but does he have an eye on a bigger prize?
I think so. I mean, that's just my opinion, but from
that's right. Wasn't there talk about the Senate?
There was talk about him running for governor, and my opinion from talking to him a little bit about it is he stepped aside to make room for Marsha, and he's actually her campaign treasurer right now. Which, as he told me when I asked him what he has to do, he said, stay out of the way of the accountants.
Okay, good. You know what? And that's a good right there. Stay out of the way. There's a government, right? That's what government should do. That's what No, Jason, stop that. I'm going to write in Jay St. Clair. I don't think you can, right? Jay's in Alabama?
Yeah.
Well, then I'm writing in Ron Paul. Bruce Lee. Batman. Scott would be awesome. Again, I like Scott. Somebody said, burn it all down. Pearson or Afton? Oh. You know what, though? That's like California. You could have a governor that is a Democrat, but because the lead in the House is so big, in the state legislature, they couldn't do anything. This is what happened to Arnold. Arnold was... They could do whatever they wanted in California when he was governor. He's like, I'm going to pass a bill. We're going to do this. I want to push this out there, and we're going to get it passed. And then they had a veto-proof majority. So he just went around going, oh, look at the size of my muscles, and I had sex with my ugly housekeeper.
I can't figure that one out.
I cannot figure that one out
I mean, I'm not
all.
saying that you necessarily want to go with Skeletor, but I don't. I don't see the housekeeper.
That was a weird one. No doubt about that. All right, coming up, he does sports. You know who he is, simply known as the man, the myth, the bell. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show. So we talk. Omaha Steaks, still time to get your yummy in your tummy. 4th of July, Independence Day sale going on right now. 50 to 60% off and $35 off at checkout when you use my code Benson at omahasteaks.com. 100% guaranteed. So no matter what you get, whether it's the Burger Perfection Pack, they've got these amazing grill packs that come with everything you can think of, from steaks to burgers to dogs to chicken breasts and pork chops, everything you can think of, 100% guaranteed. Delivered right to you in time for the 4th. What are you waiting for? They are the best. Since 1917, Omaha Steaks has delivered time and time again, and we love it. Jack and I have gone through so many hot dogs and burgers over the last couple of days because he's a ginormous boy, and he continues to eat. And thanks to Omaha Steaks, we're having a great time. So that's what I want you to do. Do the same thing. It is 4th of July, their Independence Day sale going on right now. Save massive and get $35 off when you check out by using my code Benson, omahasteaks.com. Code Benson, omahasteaks.com. Code Benson.
Well, Iran still launching drones. Is anyone surprised? Also, a mistrial declared in a high-profile arson trial, and a Hollywood icon becomes a centenarian. We'll have all that and more coming up at 1 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yes, he did, and he's got a movie coming out very soon. The second one. Was it what were they going to try to do? The grab for money or whatever it was going to be called on Spaceballs?
Oh, yeah.
So, speaking of grab for money.
Now it's time for Sports with Bam. When you need to know sports information, you turn to the guy who calls basketball shooty hoops. Let's talk some sports with Bam.
Shooty hoops indeed, brother.
Kicky ball.
Kicky ball.
So, the Mets traditionally suck, right?
Yeah, that's kind of been their jam.
So why is Carlos Mendoza being blamed?
I don't know why he's being blamed. There's a lot, I mean, here's the thing with the Mets. They love to do something called take you from another team as a free agent, give you the biggest contract you've ever seen so you can come there and have the biggest slump of your career. But he's their manager. Managers are always going to get blamed.
He was their manager.
Yeah, he was their manager.
They've already got somebody new hired. I think the way
usually don't fire without thinking you got somebody behind there.
Well, yeah, I guess that's a good point.
Especially that Andy Green. They overpay for everything.
Yeah, they brought in Bo Bichette for a crazy amount of money. And then, of course, there's Juan Soto.
Yeah.
I mean, Soto has proved that he can play in New York. I mean, he was fabulous with the Yankees. But Bichette coming from Toronto, maybe not so much. I mean, so many of these teams, they throw together all of these, extremely talented players, but at times the chemistry is just not there.
You can't get them to gel.
That's just it.
It's just not there.
I mean,
and then you see teams like the Washington Nationals from a number of years ago didn't have they had Soto at the time, but they didn't have a whole just plethora of these superstar players. But the chemistry, man, those dudes gelled and they won the World Series.
You know what? And you know this, right, Jay, better than anybody, because if you're going to have a superstar team, a roster like they've built with guys who make $50 million a year, whatever. Lindor's 27, 38 million, whatever it is.
Yeah, crazy. Like $300 and some odd $1 million total contract.
You know that you have to have more of a psychologist who can deal with egos than you need somebody who knows how to help you, catch a ball or field better. Because these guys are all in their head. They're all in their head.
You can understand the pressure that comes with that.
Yes.
You go to a new team, a new city, and you want to prove your worth, prove that contract. Man, that certainly isn't easy. I wouldn't profess that to be the case, but still, man,
Well,
you got to perform.
Yeah. And New York's one of those places where, you can hide in Kansas City, right? To a certain extent. You can hide in Kansas City, Pittsburgh. You're going to hide in a lot of these places where you may be the talk, but you're not. It's 24/7 on WFAN, and they'll hammer you all day, and you'll get booed just taking your kids to school.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. But guys that have been successful in New York, they say, man, when it's great there's no better place to play, but when it's bad, it's bad.
It is bad. Absolutely. Coming up, hour number 2 of the program, Chad Benson, Super Talk 99.7.
It's exactly 1 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. You want to know about the weekend weather? Stand by. We'll have it for you here in just a couple of minutes. President Trump not happy with Iran. Iran launching 4 attack drones at ships in the Strait of Hormuz, 3 of which were knocked down by the U.S., but a 4th drone did get through and struck a cargo ship. ABC's Brick Clinette reports from the region.
Iranian state TV saying that a communication line has been established between Iran and the U.S. in the Strait under the final statement of the Switzerland talks to help prevent incidents that could trigger a military escalation. But it's not clear exactly how that mechanism would work.
We now move out to California, where a mistrial was declared today in the arson case of the man accused of setting what eventually became the Palisades fire out in the Los Angeles area. Prosecutors say they're going to try this guy again. The judge declared the mistrial after a jury on Thursday said they could not reach a verdict. 29-year-old Jonathan Rinkerneck, he faces federal arson charges. ABC's Alex Stone, he's out in L.A.
The argument was that on New Year's Eve that he was distraught, he was angry, he was driving an Uber, went up, started that fire, and then the LA Fire Department came and put it out. But his defense team saying that he was being used as a scapegoat for the LA Fire Department's mistakes.
And a big happy birthday to legendary writer-director Mel Brooks. In honor of his 100th birthday that comes up this Sunday, the American Film Institute has proclaimed that his 1974 movie Blazing Saddles is the funniest movie of all time. Here's a clip that I'm sure many of us will remember.
What did you expect? Welcome, Sonny. Make yourself at home. Marry my daughter. You've got to remember that these are just simple farmers. These are people of the land. The common clay of the New West. You know, morons.
That, of course, Gene Wilder as the Waco Kid, having a little laugh with Cleavon Little. And, of course, it's widely known that Gene Wilder added that "you know morons" line there at the end as an ad-lib, and it has gone down in film lore for sure. That's the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
I was telling Belle, I think this weekend Jack's old enough to get himself a little bit of some knowledge on the movie world, and I think we might have to watch some Blazing Saddles.
You know, people forget that Richard co-wrote that movie, Richard Pryor.
It doesn't matter. It's the most racist, horrific movie in the history of times. Nobody could ever do anything like that again. We just named it the best comedy ever.
And a lot of times he's actually been credited as writing the majority of it, which I don't know if it's true, but it wouldn't surprise me.
That is, no, that wouldn't surprise me either. It wouldn't. But again, think about that movie. Think about, is there any way that movie gets made today?
Zero chance.
Yeah. And if it does, it's never seeing a theater.
Yeah, it would definitely only come out on
video on demand.
Yes, you might find one of the smaller streamers willing to buy it and pick it up.
You know, I was going over the streamers today. They were talking about who has the biggest share of audience, and it is not even close. Who's it? I mean, it isn't even close anymore. So and streaming has changed everything. We know that. So when people think, that, there's no way that streaming or any of this stuff's going to take over conventional TV, and it has, especially now that they're buying sports. MeTV was on there. I think they were like number 8 as far as just the most watched, like MeTV.
So that surprises me because I actually do watch a lot of MeTV for the older reruns.
Yeah.
But I always got the vibe that this was like a little secret off in the corner of TV land somewhere.
No.
But it's obviously huge.
It's massive. It is. But when you start looking at, as they break stuff down and you're thinking, okay, well, who could be number one? First of all, Paramount Plus and Peacock and them are racing, catching up to Netflix. It's YouTube. YouTube blows everybody away. It's not even close. It's not even close anymore.
I spend more time watching YouTube than I do streaming services, network TV, and like Rumble combined.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's not even close how much further ahead they are. But I was surprised, like I said, like the MeTV was on there because I first looked at it and I'm like, who the hell is Weigel? Because it's got AMC, right, at less than 1%, Hallmark, A&E, and then it's like 1.5% of all people in Weigel. I'm like, who's Weigel? And that's MeTV. They own the CW.
I had no clue.
So if you would like to watch a bunch of hot young people who happen to kind of go to a high school, then also go to a bar, and their mayor's a werewolf, CW. Scripps, the Roku channel. What's on the Roku channel? Is it like video on demand and stuff?
It is, but there's a lot of old rerun shows that are on there too. I'm a big fan of Mike and Molly, and I'll watch that via Roku.
Amazon 4.3, Warner Brothers 6.1, Fox 6.9, Netflix 7.8, and this is the total TV usage across broadcast, cable, and streaming. Paramount 9.6, Universal, that's Peacock and everything. NBC Universal 8.2, Disney 10, 13.4, YouTube. That's huge. The number one show, though, here's the thing with Netflix. Number one show streaming is The Burrows. Netflix, 1.8 billion minutes watched of those 8 episodes. They canceled it. It's $10 million an episode to produce.
That's the problem with trying to make that content is it's so expensive to make that, and plus you buy something like that and you're not necessarily there is no direct money being made on it. You're making
it's
money
hard to quantify.
Yeah, because did this show bring us more subscriptions? Well, they went up, but how do we attribute it to this show?
Yes. That right there is because when I was in talks a while ago with Sirius, we were talking the way originally that they used to do things was, okay, if we bring you on, you have to get 5,000 subscribers a month that we can attribute to you.
Well, how do you do that, though? That's the thing that always amazed me about the expenditure on Howard Stern was, okay, yeah, you're definitely going to draw people in. Subscribers are going to show up for Howard Stern. But how do you figure out which ones were Howard's versus anybody else that they have on the entire network for all intents and purposes?
Yeah, and there was the problem because they didn't have, back in the day, they didn't have as many channels as they did, where they're now looking for content and now they have commercials because there was commercials. So they need to quantify the if we're going to pay you X amount of dollars, But that's insane. People talking about Tubi and Pluto.
I have Tubi, but I never watch it.
What's on Tubi?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I know it's got some stuff that's going to be popular, but I don't use it enough to be able to tell you what.
Do they do originals too on Tubi?
I think so.
Yeah, I know Pluto. Pluto's interesting.
0544. Does Tubi do originals?
Yeah, you would know that. The Burls had a horrible ending. That's what I heard. So, and they canceled it. But they said the reason they canceled is that no matter how popular it is, how do you quantify? Because it's not like Stranger Things, where you knew because it was so massive or that they were bringing in not just views, but there was a buzz about it. And you could then go out and sell T-shirts and do all that kind of stuff. Same thing with, is it Demon Hunter? Pop Star Demon Hunter, whatever it's called?
I can't remember.
Yeah, last year, thing was massive.
But even with something like Stranger Things, if they start increasing in subscriptions, which is the point, how do you know which ones were attributable to Stranger Things?
Yeah.
A lot of them have to be, but that doesn't necessarily tell. Is it 80%? Is it 50%? Is it 65%? There's no way to tell.
Because your goal is to get people to stay and watch. Very few people go, oh, did you hear this is on here? And they're like, oh, maybe I'll go and get it. Right? Because that's the whole thing with when they brought Howard over to Sirius, everybody was going to leave and go over to Sirius because of Howard. It didn't happen that way. I mean, for all the listeners he brought over a lot, but nothing compared to what he had on terrestrial radio.
I have Sirius, and I keep it because they only charge me $6 and change. Because every time they go to bump the rate up, I call them up and I'm like, okay, just cancel the service. And they're like, no. We'll let you keep the promotional rate. But I never, ever listen to Howard at all. I mean, what I listen to is one of their talk channels, Faction Talk, which has the Bonfire, which is hosted by two comedians, the Bennington Show, which is hosted by Ron Bennington, who's a comedian and former club owner, and his daughter, Sam. I can't remember Sam's last name at the moment right now, but that's the only thing I listen to.
Yeah,
on Sirius at all.
We got a car a few years ago, and they gave you 3 months of Sirius. We're like 5 years into that car. They've never taken it away. And you know what's crazy? I never listened to it. I forgot all about it. What is helping some of the streaming right now too is the fact that if you guys noticed, they're bidding on every sports thing they can get, because that they do understand is the reason why the likes of Peacock and Universal and Paramount Plus, because they have live sports and people come to live sports. They do.
Yeah, there is. It's so of the moment that if you want in, you've got to be there when it airs. You can't go back and really listen to it and have any sense of surprise because
social media.
Yeah, because as soon as the team wins or loses, it's all over the map.
Like because when we were younger and you had to work and there was a game on or something like that, and somebody said, "Don't tell me the score," you were pretty sure you could easily make it home without knowing the score. Not anymore. Not at all. Unless you turn your phone off and go into a room by yourself.
Remember that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry had taped a game and Kramer walks in and goes, "Wow, they really blew it, didn't they?"
Yeah.
It's like, I wanted to watch it.
Oh, somebody said Howard lost a lot of listeners when he told them to stop listening and voted for Donald Trump. It's a weird relationship there.
Howard has become what he used to rail against.
Yes, he absolutely.
And to be honest with you, it would be weird if he hadn't. I mean, the man's what, in his 70s now?
Yes.
I can't expect him to act like he's 35. That would be ridiculous.
But as he matured more, or whatever he did, he lost his sense of humor and gained a sense of seriousness.
Yeah.
And
that's not why people listen to him.
And he wants everybody to forget him making special needs people do horrific things, or he wants everybody, oh, that wasn't me, kind of thing. And
that was a different version of me. I've changed now.
Well, I'm not saying you can't
change.
change. Guy. And you're so self-righteous.
Well, I mean that's the thing is, okay, that used to be you. You've grown up. You're acting like a 70-year-old instead of a 35-year-old. But don't pretend you didn't do it, because you did, and it's okay because you were a lot younger back then, and your audience has grown up with you.
It was at the time it was acceptable socially.
Yeah.
We were talking about this the other day. I did a hit on another station with my buddy, and he asked me, because we've talked about this before, he goes, what do you think is the socially acceptable thing of how many years can you go back and go, okay, this is relevant?
I mean, when he was at his peak, he was doing stuff that made his audience feel like, oh, I'm part of a rebellion. I'm part of something cool that most people don't get. And when the stupidity of the FCC going after him was the fact that they mentioned his name and he got bigger. They find him, he got bigger.
He was to radio and the battle of the FCC what Trump was to a lot of people in politics. He stood up. He told them to F off. He was the big middle finger to a lot of people out there who thought it'd become namby-pamby, and he wanted to stretch limits, and he was a change agent.
You may find me for what I do, but I am becoming so big, somebody will pay me a lot of money to do this, and they did.
When I was in Sacramento, we had Rob, Arnie, and Dawn. And I don't know if they're still there. I know Arnie passed away a few years ago, but Rob and Dawn, they were big. And they brought the station in a ton of money. They paid a guy, you ready for this? They paid a guy like $65,000 a year to sit in another room, listen to the show with a dump button.
K-Rock did that when he was on terrestrial. They had somebody dedicated to the dump button.
That is just...
And he would get dumped, and he would go crazy on the guy who hit the button.
Yeah, yeah. And like Rob used to go, I'm going to do it. I'm going to say something crazy today because I want to see if he'll do it. Because he always did. And the other thing, Rob was really nice, but we called him Vader. He was like 6'8". But it was just because they're that big back in the day, and you don't want to lose them because they make you money.
Yeah.
And I remember the guy that is my consultant who, handles a lot of what I do. He put Rush on. Rush and him were like best friends. He put Rush on the air. He was Rush's first news guy up in Sacramento and handled all the stuff for him. Same thing with Glenn Beck. But then he went to run a huge station in Los Angeles, KFI. And they had two controversial hosts, as they like to say, which was, he had Dr. Laura during the N-word debate. Remember that when she dropped the N-word? But he had John and Ken. And they were always every activist group would always come after him. And he would always tell them, no, we're not firing him. No, because the minute you say yes, they own you. They own you. It doesn't mean you can't hold people accountable for things. But people want to cancel. I mean, they tried to cancel Nate Bargatze. Did you see that? Camus Bell was in the comic. The guy's because he's a fascist because he went to the UFC fights.
And it's funny because Nate goes out of his way to be his brand is family friendly. That is he doesn't talk politics. He doesn't talk sex. He doesn't use curse words. You can bring your kid to his show and you're not going to be embarrassed at the event. And trying to say Nate should be canceled is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is a political move on that guy's part because he wants him to feel some heat for going to a Trump event.
And that's what it was. Saying he should be canceled. This guy went to, for God's sakes, stop with the canceling. right? He didn't go there because, Trump invited him. He's the president. And he went, that's fine. I don't even think Nate is really that much into politics. But he likes the UFC.
Yeah.
He's friends with the Rogan. There you go. Good God, people. We got to cancel somebody. Somebody did something I didn't like. Did he do something? Oh, he didn't even do anything. He was just somewhere you didn't think he needed to be.
He was too close to somebody he was associating with somebody you don't like, and he got too close to them physically.
Yes. And that person says stuff that you don't like. And because of that, boom, there you go. Coming up, you're going to hear it in a little bit. There is a mistrial. Crazy. In the big fire in Los Angeles. Why is there a mistrial? The fact that they're going to try him again is also weird. Same thing with Mangione, by the way. Apparently they feel like they are working maybe on a plea deal, which could be happening. I wouldn't be surprised. Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 99.7. Relief Factor is amazing. I take it every single day. Helps me out. Whether I'm playing golf a lot, pickleball, doing stuff with my son. Trust me, as you get older, you need a little something to help you with inflammation. Because aches and pains in your joints, the number one cause, inflammation. The number one cause. And this fights inflammation from the inside out. Naturally formulated. It is non-addictive and it works. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to try Relief Factor today. It is not going to break the bank. It's $17.76. It is, the third party tested, purity and potency. You're going to feel the difference in days. If you struggle with aches and pains because of inflammation, try this and watch what happens. Go to relieffactor.com and get yours now. Relieffactor.com, just $17.76 for a 3-week quick start. Relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Subpoenas issued to a billionaire in the Epstein file case. We'll have that story for you. Also, wildfires out west continue to be a growing threat. And many Rutherford County residents getting a little surprise in the mail. We'll tell you about that as well at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Scumbag Leon Black. Man, I'm reading about the case of the guy that they thought started the Palisades fire, and the fact that they're going to retry him, maybe.
His defense team was really saying, "Hey, look, there is no evidence that his client actually did this, and then that fire led in from the Lockman fire to the Palisades fire. That connection should then go back to his client." And that he's responsible for what ultimately happened.
And when they talked to the jurors, 10 of them were on the not guilty side. And they said, what?
There was just not enough proof. It was happened so late in the time, and I just felt like a lot of holes,
Yeah, a lot of holes. A lot of holes. And I don't know if they're going to go back and retry him because...
if you're going to put somebody behind bars for years, you better have the proof.
Yeah, you better have the proof because we're talking about forever behind jail. Even if he got out, he would have millions of dollars in fines when he's like 90 years old. There's no way. If you better have the absolute proof that this guy did it. And when you've got 10 of the jurors saying no, and you say, well, we should retry it. Do you really want to do that? Do you really want to retry it? I mean, you couldn't get it on this. What's to make you think you're going to get it on the next one?
Hearing that 10 of the jurors said not guilty, I think would give an air of confidence to the defense to say, if you choose to retry this case, why does it make sense? Why move forward? Because for any case, a prosecutor must show that they believe they can get a guilty verdict. With an outcome like this, I think it's a very difficult conversation for the prosecution to move forward. So it's interesting to see what happens next.
Yeah. You got to really think about that. You got to be thinking, maybe I was going to let this one go. Or let this one slide. Slide, I say, slide. Pumped World Cup. Got the game on right here. Got the France getting it right take on Norway. They just showed Norway. There's basically the entire country of Norway's got the uniforms on. They're all outside doing the row. If you've not seen it, they go, do, row.
Did you see the video of them doing it up an escalator?
Yes.
That was funny.
And they did it on the train, right?
What train?
They did it. They were on the subway.
Oh.
And did you see them? They were in Times Square, and they do this like morning yoga thing, and everybody's out there, and it's all quiet. And there's like 1,000 of them up on this, what looks to be like these stands, and as everybody's doing stuff, they're all do row. So funny.
Frat boys.
Yes, they're having fun. They're enjoying themselves. Big time. Big time. Chad, you honestly believe in the California judicial system? It's been proven they have tainted jury pools in heavy Democratic areas. Yeah, I believe in the I believe that in something this big. Yes. Do I? First of all, how many really ever get to trial? Very rarely. You know why? Because your defendant, the guy that's going to be defending you, or gal, mostly guys, they don't have time because you're one of 500 people they're defending that day. So they're just trying to get you in and out as fast as possible. What they're trying to do is clean their docket.
Yeah, let's do a plea deal. I got things to do.
Yeah. So it looks like they might be doing that with Mangione or trying to do something like at least a conversation of a plea.
The foundation of that case is cracking all over the place.
Yeah, it's not going well.
It's not. I don't think it's being managed very well.
No. And remember, there's a federal case and then there's a state case. So even if he was to cut a deal with the state, doesn't mean the feds are going to go along with it. But as that thing starts to fall apart, here's the one thing you should know about the feds. If it's not a slam dunk, they will not pursue it. Because you can't move up the ladder if you don't win every case. And that's the way they judge you. And they judge you, they only pick stuff that are slam dunks or they know they're going to get an easy kind of, okay, what's the deal that you can give me? So, well, man, could you imagine if he gets I've said he's gonna get a deal. I continue to think he's gonna get a deal. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like 20 years, right? Of which he'll spend the first several in some sort of mental institution. Would not be surprised. All right, coming up. AI. Peppa Pig. What are they doing? It's very weird. Not a fan of this. Talk about that straight ahead. Jeff Bensell, Super Talk 99.7.
"31 minutes past 1 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Your weekend forecast is on the way. A private equity billionaire named Leon Black, he refused to answer certain questions about his dealings with Jeffrey Epstein when he appeared behind closed doors on Capitol Hill today. The House Oversight Committee has now issued subpoenas to compel him to reappear. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more from D.C.
Going into the interview, House Oversight Chair James Comer said of all the people he's brought in,
this one has the potential to be the most groundbreaking.
But 2 hours later, Comer said billionaire Leon Black refused to answer questions about non-disclosure agreements. Comer said his committee has now subpoenaed Black for his testimony and for the NDAs. The private equity magnate told the panel he had no knowledge of Epstein's heinous conduct. But top committee Democrat Robert Garcia says this.
Jeffrey Epstein would not have been able to commit the horrific crimes without the support of Mr. Black.
Well, we move out west now, where there are more than 36 wildfires burning in about a dozen states. It's especially dangerous in Utah. Here's Trevor Ault.
In Utah, the Cottonwood fire has scorched more than 70,000 acres, prompting evacuations for hundreds of people and burning down a popular ski lodge, the Eagle Point. Now, local, state, and federal agencies are all on hand trying to keep it from threatening neighborhoods. And the Iron Fire has also burnt more than 40,000 acres.
Well, if you're like me, you may have gotten a little letter in the mail. All over Rutherford County, folks are getting new assessment notices, and the numbers are somewhat significant. Countywide property values have grown by more than $29 billion since the last assessment 4 years ago. That's a 26% increase in median property value. But that doesn't necessarily mean a bigger tax bill for every homeowner. Hey, compared to the neighbors for Rutherford County, Wilson County, they saw a 66% median increase. Davidson County jumped 45%. That's the latest news. Weather on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Do 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 do. Did you see in Texas that giraffe escaped? How do you lose a giraffe?
Maybe it's in a valley.
It was in San Antonio. Honey,
There's
the
some
dog
valleys.
outside looks weird. I mean,
I was listening to a story about that, and they were talking about mountain lions or coyotes getting it, and I can see a mountain lion getting it, but then it stomped the hell out of a coyote.
mountain lion would pay the price. Absolutely. Now, if there was 5 or 6, yes, but if it's 1, it's going to stomp on it. Going to stomp. You know what Jack and I are going to watch this weekend? Speaking of that, Hungry Hippo. It's out on Amazon Prime. That's the one where they go to this guy takes them up. I think they're in the Amazon or somewhere, and they're
Is it a cocaine hippo?
No, yeah, they don't know why it's there, but they go. It's people are going there for the crocodiles to see him, and they roll up on the biggest crocodile, and he's bitten in half, and then there's an angry hippo.
That actually happened. There,
Yes.
but it was in Africa. It was Gustav.
Gustav was the beast.
And he killed an adult male hippo. He's so big.
Do you know why Gustav got the way he did?
No, and I've actually watched some videos on it.
So Gustav, if you guys don't know who Gustav is, he was the famous, beyond famous. I mean, there's pictures of him, and
he's killed over 300 humans, and most of them he didn't eat.
Yeah, but he ate a lot. And the reason was where he lived in and around Rwanda, Burundi, and all these places, there were civil wars.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
His growth became so big, they think because of first of all, they think he may have had what does Anthony Robbins have? Something
Gigantism.
like pituitary issue. They think that might have been it. But the other thing is, it was easy for him because they had nowhere, especially the Hutus and the Tutsis when that war was going on, they had nowhere to dump the bodies. So they just threw them in the river. And he just sat there and just, free food.
But I was watching one of the scientists talk about it, and he said that when you get to be that big, you have to be very judicious about what you attack and how you expend your energy, because it's got to be worth it to to go after it in terms of the energy spent versus calories.
Because you get so big that if you were to chase a fish, you might spend 1,000 calories to get something that's 500 calories.
Yeah,
and that's not worth it to them.
And this is another reason they think it had something to do with his brain, because he's disconnected from
the fear of humans.
He'll go and kill a human, but he won't consume it.
Yeah.
So he'll expend all that energy to kill them, but he doesn't eat them, so he has no caloric
There's
intake.
no fear factor. Yeah, because he doesn't have the fear of them, and so if he sees something he didn't like or somebody he thinks, oh, I'll go kill that one, kind of like a raven, even if they could kill, they would, or crows. That was such a fascinating thing with him. It was so fascinating, and they didn't think there was anything to do. Like a lot of times when animals go that rogue, it's because their teeth are bad. They've got something wrong with their jaw, and humans are gangly and they're goofy and they're easily caught.
Well, he's got a couple bullet holes in his side, but nothing. But I've never heard anything about him having bad teeth.
No, but I tell you what, when he rolled up next to all the other ones, you're like, oh, that seems a little bit different. No doubt about that.
Huge.
Peppa Pig is, and this is crazy. So if you guys know who Peppa Pig is a very famous pig named Peppa. And Peppa is a cartoon. And Peppa is now sold to Hasbro. And Hasbro has said, hey, little kids, sign your voices so we can artificially, intelligently copy them so we can use them in other projects. So that's not the voice hack. That's the copy of them. And the way they want them to do this, which is crazy, is, and the way, how do they spin it? Well, it's good. It's better for the kids. It's better for the kids. It is. So apparently it was told them it's a take it or leave it, meaning the children could lose out of work if their parents or guardians refuse to agree to the terms. And they're signing away stuff where they could do toys, they could do streamings, they could do commercials. And I'm sure at some point in time, it's going to be the show as well. And this is the thing. Any agreement involving child's voice should be fully exempt from all AI usage, they're saying. No child should have their future professional identity shaped by AI model created before they were old enough to understand the consequences. Hasbro said...
If they have a lawyer worth of salt, that ain't happening.
No. Hasbro said... Pfft.
That's just nuts. That's like telling a kid, an actor or an actress, we're going to own your face and you can't use it in the future.
Yes.
No, you're not.
And look, if you are saying to them, if we do a commercial, you're going to get full rate. If we do a toy, you're going to, whatever we use it for, we're going to compensate you. They're not saying that. They're just saying, now, you'll probably get a little something, but it's not the same. It isn't. They said most recently, major studio owns an IP for international children's franchise to produce a long-running animated series, has offered contracts insisting they agree to use for AI, allowing them to use a child's voice in all commercial assets within the franchise. And the refusal to remove this clause with the attitude of the take it or leave it has led to many people signing a letter and sending to him saying there's no way that this should be done and you should withdraw this. It isn't going to happen. Hasbro's not going to do that. Now, you've got $1 billion franchise, with the cartoons and all the stuff. You don't want to blow it up. But this is what the actors and everybody was afraid of. Because remember, they're not saying, well, no. We're not going to use it for the cartoons and stuff. It's just going to be for commercials, rides and things of that nature.
Yeah, tell Spielberg about rides and how much money that can bring in.
What do they say he gets?
It's like 2.5%.
Yeah, of everything at Universal Studios in Orlando.
Every dollar they make, he gets 2.5 cents.
Yeah, and that includes, that is, you bought a ticket, you're going in, he gets something. You buy a snack, he gets something. God, what a great deal. They say he makes $50 million a year before he ever rolls out of bed.
Just on that.
Just on that.
Doesn't even have to make a movie.
No. That is just crazy. That's the fear that actors have. And I understand that. That is, and to do it to a kid too. Man, that's crazy. That is crazy, baby.
Yeah, this is going to be a kind of a seminal moment in this fight because if they give in, every other company is going to be looking at it like, yeah, we got to do that too. But if they stand up and they win, that's going to be very difficult for other companies to come in and try that same arm twisting.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing: they may not win this one. They may win this one. You don't know. It's the testing of the waters because what comes next is you're going to sign all that stuff long before that cartoon ever sees the light of day. Long before there's ever a penny made from a stuffy or a game, you're going to have to do that. And so that'll be the new thing. And I know because we're doing it. We've got some stuff on CBS and we've got a couple other things that are out there, but we're not taking anybody's voices.
You talking about your company?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're not taking anybody's voices, but there's no doubt that, we would use the opportunity to do that in the future, but we're going to be one-offs. We're not looking at franchises or cartoons and stuff. And even then, the whole thing about AI is to make it simpler and cheaper, more cost efficient because that's what the studios are looking around going, we got nothing right now. We got nothing. We're broke AF. We are spending tons of money and we have, if it wasn't for superhero movies or sequels, they'd be in so much trouble.
Remakes.
Oh,
I'm so
God.
sick of seeing remakes done.
Yeah. This weekend you have Jackass out and Supergirl.
I thought Supergirl came out last weekend.
No, I think it comes out. It comes out today. It came out last night, and God only knows what that's going to do because it wasn't great. Did 13 million the first day. Yesterday, that's not bad. Not far away, they say, from what Disclosure Day did, but they're not expecting a lot with this. But this is one of those things where you go, and if you could make that for half the price, you're going to do that.
Supergirl is out this week. Jackass Best and Last. The Invite and Lucky Strike. That's in theaters.
Lucky Strike? What the hell's that?
An action-packed drama starring Scott Eastwood and Colin Hanks. So I guess that's Hollywood superstars' kids making a movie.
That's weird.
Scott Eastwood is Clint's son, and Colin Hanks is Tom's son.
Colin, Chet's the one that's the rapper. Colin, he's an actor. He's good, but Chet's the rapper. Have you guys ever seen Chet? It's a trip. He's like, "Are you adopted?" Oh goodness! Jackass. What is it? How old are they?
Got to be in their late 50s.
Yeah, I would assume. I mean, that's insane.
Maybe a couple of them are in their early 50s and a couple in their early 60s.
They tried to invite Bam to do some stuff, but he refused to do anything with him, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad blood there.
There's a lot of bad. Well, I think they were trying to smooth it over because they know this is their last one until they get old enough to blow themselves up when they're older because they just don't want to do it anymore.
They'll start filming their surgeries.
Oh, Lord. Lucky Strike opens today. That's World War II. Okay. Supergirl is supposed to be complete. I think she's great from what I understand. I think everything else, and Momoa, everybody's like, they need more of that guy. Because he plays Lobo. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Who's Lobo. He's so bad that heaven doesn't want him or hell doesn't want him. So he's just eternally a Richard and goes around and fights.
And drinks.
And fights more. And no matter how much they blow him up, as long as there's one little bit of what DNA he can regenerate.
He's a Wolverine ripoff.
Yeah. Is he?
Yes.
Is he now?
Yes.
Better than Batman. I'll tell you that. Tell you that right now. All right, coming up. Find out what's going on. And I bet she makes a hell of a sandwich. That's not very nice. How fast you think you get
Maybe that's true. Why would you deny it until we know?
I don't think she makes sandwiches. She doesn't seem to be the lovely, cuddly kind of person in this. She seems to be more of, as we would say, a trollop. A drunken trollop. Talk a little about Venezuela. What's going on there? How many people might be dead? Because the number's rising already. We came on the air, it was 589 confirmed dead. It's over 1,000 now.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And there's 50+ thousand missing.
And what are we, 24 hours into it? That's it?
Yeah, something like that. 48.
It's going to be so ugly.
I have a feeling it's going to be that way. If you're missing the show, grab that podcast. Chet Benson, Super Talk 99.7. Angel Studios has something for you that is awesome. Are you ready for this? Young Washington tickets. So Young Washington, this chronicles George Washington's life, but not as the general, the man, the legend, all that stuff. How did he become that? The story of him when he was around 20. He faces the failures, all the stuff that goes on that defines who you are. It's a powerful story. It's an amazing story about faith and leadership. And this is to celebrate America's 250th birthday. So when you go now and become an Angel Guild premium member, normally it's $20 a month. It's $15. You're going to get 2 tickets to go see this. It is in theaters on Independence Day. So you get 2 tickets to go see this. You're also going to get tickets to future Angel theatrical releases, absolutely full access to the streaming library and exclusive member perks and updates. So storm the theater July 4th. Help make Young Washington the number one movie in America. Go to angel.com/Benson, become a premium member for just $15 a month. Receive 2 free tickets to Young Washington this Independence Day. Angel.com/Benson.
President Trump chiding the results of those New York primaries. We'll have that for you. Also, a mistrial declared in a high-profile arson trial, and a former Nashville high school teacher facing some very serious charges. That's all coming up at the top of the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Since the World Cup. Great game. France, Norway. We're just talking about crocodiles.
Wait a minute. What's the score?
Just getting ready to kick off right now.
Oh.
France. So we're talking about the Crocs. 2032, the Olympics are going to be in Australia, and Fitzroy Rivers were going to do all the rowing and everything. And they had a big meeting to go, hey, we can't have anybody getting eaten while they're rowing.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like part of the point.
Yeah, I would have been like, well, why are you holding it here? Because the Fitzroy River is very much
full of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those places. And they were showing pictures of them. They're like, they don't need somebody to be rowing. And like you said today, the lady who's skiing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw a video on Instagram where a woman she's got her ski garb on and everything, and she's a snowboarder. And she's doing an Instagram video. She stopped in the middle of the run, and she's doing a little bit. Then she starts going down again, and she's got a selfie stick, and she's kind of panning back and forth and talking to the camera while she's snowboards. And a couple of times you can catch a grizzly chasing her down the mountain.
And she's oblivious.
And she's oblivious that it's even there.
Because they want special stuff put in to protect. It's understandable. I mean, it's nature. You're going into nature. That's all you need to say. And the sharks, by the way, they are out in force in Australia. They're showing areas where they're absolutely just completely flabbergasted. Not that there's a shark, it's how many and how close they are.
Well, I mean, now that they're charging for selfies, everybody's trying to get
they do that.
Get their choice of hands to eat.
They do that. There's no doubt about that. That lady, God, that's to this day. Again, if you do something stupid with an animal, you deserve to get made fun of. If you go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a selfie with a shark. Okay. I'm going to go grab an alligator. Knock yourself out. But if something goes sideways, we reserve the right to laugh at you. Coming up, we're going to talk a bit about Venezuela. What's going on there? Scotus, the wait continues. We will discuss that as well. A bunch of other good stuff on the way. If you're missing the show, we do have a podcast. Grab it. Chad Benson, Super Talk 99.7.
It is 2 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. That weekend weather forecast is coming up. President Trump railed against the results of the New York primaries while speaking at the Faith and Freedom Conference today in Washington. Several candidates backed by New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani, a self-declared socialist Democrat, won their primary races. Trump called the candidates communists and said they're making promises that they just cannot keep.
First year, boy, you're the most popular. It's happening right now in New York and California. But you'll start living in squalor. You'll live in squalor. There will be no food. There will be no housing. There will be no military. There will be no law and order. There will be no nothing.
We now move out west where a mistrial was declared today in the arson case of the man accused of setting what eventually became the Palisades fire in the L.A. area. Prosecutors say they're going to try this guy again. The judge declared the mistrial after a jury yesterday said that they could not reach a verdict. 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderneck, he faces federal arson charges. ABC's Alex Stone, he's in Los Angeles.
His defense team was really saying, hey, look, there is no evidence that his client actually did this, and then that fire led in from the Lockman fire to the Palisades fire, that connection should then go back to his client, and that he's responsible for what ultimately happened.
Back here in Nashville, a former high school teacher facing very serious charges following a months-long police investigation. Metro Nashville police say 32-year-old Khadija Kuykendall, a former 10th grade English teacher, she's been indicted on 18 counts in connection with an alleged sexual relationship with a student last year. Kuykendall, she was terminated from Whites Creek High School back in August after she disclosed details of the alleged relationship to a colleague. The 10-month investigation led to charges including aggravated statutory rape, sexual contact, and sexual battery by an authority figure. She's currently being held on a $150,000 bond. That is the latest news. Weather on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Watching the World Cup. Game just kicked off. France and Norway. Place is rocking. Lots of the Norwegians there and a lot of people rowing. Row, row, row. We lost last night. It's not a big deal. We're going to be fine. We play Wednesday night against Bosnia, and we're all right. It was a bunch of guys that are good enough to be on the team, good enough in spots, but hadn't played much together. 9 subs out of the 11. They flipped it over, the whole team. So not worried about us. Yesterday, this is what's crazy. This is how popular this has become. For a lot of you out there, it's like, oh, this is dumb. We're not even through the first round, and the record for most people at a World Cup has already been broken. And the record was set in 94. So it's insane. It's crazy. Just how excited, and we don't have it here. The Japanese team's here, but we don't have it. But other parts of the country, like Kansas City right now, I guarantee you there's 20,000 people camped out watching the game. Same thing in Seattle and stuff. And by the way, that Seattle thing's funny. If you guys haven't seen it, it's the Pride game. They're going to have the Pride game. Is it tomorrow night or is it tonight? I think it's tonight. And Egypt and Iran, they are, how should we say this? They're not good with the gays. Is that fair to say?
Well, unless you consider hanging them from cranes and executing them by beheading, otherwise, what's the issue?
Yeah, they've got some issues with the gays, and maybe the players do, maybe the players don't. I'm sure the players don't want to be dragged into anything more. And they also don't want to be in a position where especially in Iran, the regime thinks that you're a part of any kind of protest. It's the last thing they want. But the people up there have said, yeah, we're doing this. So I would have been smarter and said, look, I'm not going to do this to these guys. Because in the NHL, and I know there's a big kerfuffle going on with Major League Baseball. They're going after Christians. They wrote stuff on their caps. You're not supposed to do that. Well, they allowed BLM because Major League Baseball told them it was okay to put those on there. Back in
kerfuffle?
Yeah.
What does Major League Baseball have to do with Iran?
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. A skirmish, will you? A little bit of an argument. And Major League Baseball is trying to figure out, they're like, look, and it wasn't even a miscommunication. They're kind of saying it was a miscommunication, but one of the guys wrote on his hat, because you don't have to wear the uniform. Okay? So you don't have to wear the uniform if it's a pride night at all. You could wear the regular uniform, numbers, nothing on the hat. But one of the guys did that, and he also wrote on his hat. You can't do that. You can't. Even Harmeet Dillon was like, I just hope it's a miscommunication. I'm kind of thinking that's what it is. We can all learn from this and go on. So if they say it's okay, then it's okay. If they would have asked, maybe they say it's okay. But I prefer my sports with less politics. Even if it's the politics I want less politics. I like to watch the games. That's kind of my jam. Goal, France. Hey, Francia, goal. I wonder how many people watch the... Here's the thing about the games. Like tonight, I think some of the games are on at 10 o'clock our time. That's late for me. Jack and I had to take a nap yesterday because now I've got Jack on my sleep schedule, and he's not a fan of that. He's not. Because his friends are 2 hours back, and he wants to play video games. And he's like, I'm going to go to bed, Dad. It's like 8:30 or 9. Because he's not like Charlie, who's wide awake 24/7. Because that's what you do when you're little. Venezuela, the horrors of what's going on there, and it is awful. 50,000.
They were showing some pictures earlier on CNN, and it looked like Gaza.
Yeah. It looked like that's the best. I described that today on my national show. I said it looks like, if you guys have seen Gaza, that's what it looks like. There is certain areas where you're like, there's no way this wasn't a bomb, because that's what it looks like.
Emergency crews digging through mountains of concrete and twisted metal. Crowds cheering as people are freed from the rubble. 4-year-old Adrian carried to safety. Venezuelan TV showing 3 more children covered in dust pulled out alive. This woman saying she held onto a door frame during the quake and watched her friend disappear.
Watched her friend disappear. The cadaver dogs, the rescue dogs, and our search and rescue in several states are already down there searching. It was 39 seconds apart, a 7.2, then a 7.5. And as of now, over 1,000 people dead, 6,000 people injured, and they're putting the estimate about 50,000 still missing. Now, some people just may not be able to get a hold of because their phones are dead, because the cell service and everything is a mess. But they feel like this is going to rise fast over the weekend. And like we were talking about, we started the show, was at 589, and now it's over 1,000 and rising. TB says, France makes it look easy. They do when you're the best team in the world. Did Israel cause the earthquake? Did they? Do you remember when we tried to have an earthquake bomb? The U.S.? They wanted to build an earthquake bomb.
Doesn't sound familiar.
So it was supposed to be so big that it was going to hit the ground and go into it and then detonate, potentially causing an earthquake, if I'm correct. Which is it's like controlling the weather.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool superpower.
Storm from the X-Men.
I know. Was she unstoppable?
No, but she's pretty powerful.
Who's the most powerful of the X-Men?
That's debatable depending on who's writing it.
Oh, because they come up with the characters. So you want your character to be awesome. Was it Howard the Duck? Was he an X-Men?
No.
He wasn't. By the way, he was in one of the, he's got his own little deal where they write him out comic book.
But he did have a little adventure with Alice Cooper in his own comic book.
Did he?
Yeah.
They need the platypus.
No.
Which is the world's weirdest animal. Would you agree?
Yeah.
It
has a tail like a beaver. It's got web feet. It has a.
It's got spurs.
It's got venomous spurs. It lays eggs, and it has
no stomach.
What's the? How would you describe the beak? The bill.
The duck.
Yeah.
But it is like a duck's bill is made of keratin and stuff, like your nails, and everything. Theirs is made of fur.
It's kind of leathery.
Yeah, and it lays eggs. Who made that up? Do you think God was going, oh, man, this is going to be awesome? hey.
I'm really going to mess with
their heads. What did you make here? You don't like it? No, but maybe. It's too late. We produced a whole bunch of them. They just let them out there. It's the last time you get to do anything. Oh, God, that is funny. Rogue. Oh, Rogue, huh? She was pretty powerful. Is she the one where if you touched her?
Yeah. She could absorb memories and powers from other people.
Did she get to use the powers?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's cool.
They'd wear off eventually, but she could still do it.
That's okay. Because I know she liked the freezy guy, right? Or the lighter guy. And every time she tried to kiss him.
No, it was it was Iceman that she was into.
Okay, the Iceman.
Yeah.
And I know that every time she kissed him, she would start sucking away. Oh, God, it's all happening.
Yeah.
See, look at this. I know this stuff. Under Siege, Dark Territory, Earthquake Laser. Oh, that's right. Was that the one with Steven Seagal was on the train?
That sounds about his speed.
I think that's the one. Oh, God, Under Siege 2. Under Siege 1 was enjoyable. Under Siege 2, ridiculous. Jeez. Good God. People, good God. Meanwhile, we talked about it the other day about whether or not Gatlin was going to allow sparklers. Remember that? Sparklers.
Yeah.
Will they? Well, okay, we've got it. We've got the real story now.
Tennessee law now allows certain kinds of fireworks, like sparklers, to be sold year-round. But it's not that simple. Local governments can enact stricter laws. In Gallatin, city leaders say they're not banning sparklers. You can buy them through July 5th and set them off through the 4th. Just like other fireworks.
You're not banning sparkler devices. We're only changing when and where they can be sold, and we're just using our established plan that we've been using for years with fireworks. We'll just keep that in place.
But the chief says there was confusion when the state law changed, allowing sparklers to be sold year-round, even though Gallatin decided to restrict when they could be sold in their city limits. Outside of the 4th, people in Gallatin can set off sparklers on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Fireworks are not banned. I promise you, they're not banned. Again, the only thing that we changed was sparkling devices will be sold like with fireworks. You still have the same locations, the same time frames, and the same times you can go out and enjoy those.
So you can do it. It's funny how they say, well, they sell them through the 5th, but you could only use them through the 4th. So if I buy them on the 5th, I have to wait till New Year's? Well, let's just say, all right, I happen to be there, right? And I happen to have a sparkler. And it's the 25th. Am I going to be in trouble? Are you bringing the SWAT to get me? Is that happening? I don't know. Yeah, we're talking about sparklers because they were talking about, like, should we ban them? And we were making fun of the fact that, but we know now because we want to make sure we get it right. Because there's a lot of faux stuff out there or half stories.
But it's still just silly that they're limiting when you can buy them.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Absolutely.
It's like the old saying goes, the ATF should be a convenience store.
They should be. Man, they came after him, didn't they? On Waco. Yeah, that was a good thing. Somebody said Under Siege was a better movie. And yes, Erica Laniak did pop out of a cake, and you did get to see memories. But that's not the reason you should see it. You should see it because Steven Seagal is amazing. That's all that you guys need to know. No more sparklers. No, you can have sparklers at weddings, right? I think you can have sparklers at weddings. And you could do it on New Year's and New Year's Day. But that's it. And 4th of July. That's it. No more. Snap Pops. Oh, God, I remember Snap Pops. Those were awesome. I would totally... Those, being here compared to when I was in Arizona, California, there's like 2 cities. You always know you're in a bad place in California if they have a firework booth. You're like, well, they don't care about this area. But otherwise, you can't have it. But, in Arizona where I lived in the Valley of the Dirt People, they didn't care what you did. They did not care what you did. And the snap, man, you could get snaps all year long at like the Dollar General. Just snap, 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 snap. I love those things. We're going to talk coming up a little bit later about what Trump might do when it comes to, he's got some issues that he's trying to maneuver when it comes to not just China's, China, the communists, but their car industry. Because if you guys don't know anything about their car industry, BYD, if we allowed them to sell their cars, they're going to crush our car industry. Destroyed. They've destroyed Tesla. BYD, their stuff is it is incredible. It's ready for prime time. It works at a quarter of the price. And it is just insane. And Mexico and Canada have them. And a lot of people are going to Mexico and Canada, buying cars and bringing them back. And the BYDs, among other things, are amazing. And it's going to be interesting to see what he does because they're telling him, dude, this will destroy our world. And it will because of how cheap they are. Imagine getting something Tesla-like for 25, 30 grand. That would be insane. And speaking of cars too, I want to talk about that Slate car truck. Have you guys seen that? I'm debating whether or not I want to try to get one because they're fascinating and they are no frills. And I'm talking no frills, but the price. And as we all know, we live in a country that is all about the price. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Omaha Steaks is delicious and amazing, and they've got their 4th of July sale, their Independence Day sale going on right now. First, when you think of Omaha Steaks, think nothing but the best quality. America's Butcher since 1917, so well over 100 years. And it comes with an unconditional money-back guarantee. It's going to be fresh when it gets to you. And for the rising cost of everything, you don't have to worry about that. You're going to save huge on the best of everything, from burgers and dogs, which we love. And we're not just talking about, here's some ground beef, filet mignon, brisket. They've got everything you can think of when it comes to burgers. Same things with their dogs, which are just amazing. Then you get to the steaks, which there are Omaha Steaks. Fillets, top sirloin, filet mignon. Yes, they've got the best in chicken, pork chops, you name it. They've got it all. And amazing packages for Independence Day. To the point where they're 50 to 60% off. And when you use my code Benson, you're going to save yourself an extra $35 at checkout. So hurry up, grab a hold of it, get your grill ready, and get some Omaha Steaks. Go to omahasteaks.com. Use my code Benson to save $35 at checkout. omahasteaks.com, code Benson.
An agreement between Israel and Lebanon has been announced. We'll have that breaking news. Also, a house explosion in Ohio and a watchdog group putting several Middle Tennessee hospitals on notice. We'll have all that coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, my Lord. I'm glad we're going to play a little bit so I can watch some of the game. 2-1. By the time that we had gone off the air, it was 2-0 France. And Norway just came back and scored, and now they're all rowing. They're all rowing. Speaking of fun, frivolity, and some World Cup stuff, it's been a hell of a week. Sit back, relax, and take a listen.
A good hobby, and it's also a waste of time, and once again, go pitch grass.
Last time I went in the woods, I got a Lone Star tick bite right next to my wiener.
This project so far not going as planned.
Oh, baby. Yeah, they won. Not a big deal. We'll be fine. We play Wednesday against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Both of them will be there. Both of them. Be there. Bosnia and Herzegovina. And that'll be in, I think, Santa Clara. I don't know what the hell they call that stadium. I'd say San Francisco, but not really. It's like 40 miles away. But yay for the Americans, and I still think we're going to the quarterfinals. And then from there, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So Lebanon and Israel. Dive a little bit into this and see what it looks like. It's a framework agreement towards peace. How real is it? What does it actually look like? What's in it? You know? And is everybody, are we all on the same page? That's a big deal because as we all know, Hezbollah, the militant group, not always listening to anybody but themselves. And Israel, as we know, doesn't listen to anybody except for themselves. And is this going to now lead to a situation where Iran is not going to attack ships? They're not going to do what they've done and maybe even say, all right, we're done with the tolls. Or, because I still think there's going to be issues. We all know that. These things are sticky and they're icky and they're not always smooth at the beginning. And even at the end, because you're going to have rogue, as you know, especially when you're dealing with militants, you're going to have rogue groups that may break away. And Hezbollah may be like, look, it's not us. So we'll see what that looks like, but we'll delve into this. And the other thing is, Bibi's got a real challenger. And he's got to get something done because he is in some serious trouble. And to avoid living in jail potentially for the rest of his life, he better figure out how to win this. Or else I do think he's going to be in some serious trouble. Because he's already in it. But I think his whole thought is, can he run out the clock? And I don't know if he can. And no matter how much, we've seen it, no matter how much pressure Trump has put on the prime minister over there, their president, he's not pardoning him. He is not pardoning Bibi at all. And they have put a ton of pressure on them to do that. But that ain't happening. Not anytime soon. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit about that, among other things. If you're missing the show, we got a podcast. Check us out. You can tweet at me at Chad Benson Show. ChadBenson. Chad Benson, Super Talk 99.7.
It is 2:30 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll get that weekend weather forecast to you here in a bit. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announcing an agreement between Israel and Lebanon today. He says it's just the first step toward peace following the ongoing conflict between Israel and the militant group Hezbollah.
We're happy to announce a framework agreement between the sovereign government of Lebanon and of course the government of Israel, with a mediation and support of the United States of America, that begins to put in place a framework for lasting peace and security.
Back here in the U.S., a house explosion triggered by a gas leak injured one person and caused extensive damage to at least 15 homes yesterday afternoon in Twinsburg Township, Ohio. Authorities said the gas leak was caused by a contractor drilling. During a news conference today, the fire chief there, a guy named Earl Wilson, said the blast, it launched debris up to 2 blocks.
Upon the arrival of the gas company, they were having a conversation. In that short amount of time, the house that you saw over there ignited and blew up through the intersection of these 3 streets.
Back here in Middle Tennessee, a watchdog group is putting several Middle Tennessee hospitals on notice. A new report from Hospital Watch names 16 hospitals across the entire state of Tennessee, 5 of them right here in Middle Tennessee, for allegedly failing to comply with federal price transparency rules. Those hospitals locally include Ascension St. Thomas Midtown and the St. Thomas Hospital for Specialty Surgery in Nashville, Rolling Hills Hospital, and Williamson Medical Center in Franklin, and High Point Health Sumner in Gallatin. Federal rules require hospitals to publicly post pricing so patients know what care might cost before they get treated. According to the Associated Press, the Trump administration has warned more than 500 hospitals nationwide over similar violations, and hospitals that don't fix the problems could face civil penalties up to $2 million a year. That is the latest news. We've got weather on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
treat you. Call or book today at myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com.
Relief Factor. Let's give you the relief you need when it comes to aches and pains of your joints and your muscles. Number one cause of that, inflammation. And inflammation's a butt kicker. You guys know that. So what do you have with Relief Factor? Naturally formulated, third-party tested for purity and potency. Take it every single day. It's non-addictive, and it works from the inside out. It's not there to mask the pain. It's there to relieve that inflammation so you can walk and feel great again. Do the things you used to love to do and do them without the fear of being in pain. So this is what I want you to do. Right now, $17.76. That is their 3-week quick start special. It's just $17.76. A little Independence Day special for you. Try it. You're not going to be disappointed. I take it every single day. Go to relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com, or call 800-4-RELIEF, 800, the number 4, RELIEF, for Relief Factor. Go! 3-1 France. Even Jack's watching it. Got my son watching the soccer game because normally, at 16, he just wants to play video games. But he's like, Dad, now what he does is he plays FIFA and watches soccer next to him because that's what you do. We were talking earlier about BYD, which is the Chinese EV manufacturer. They're the biggest in the world. They're the number one EV manufacturer. We can't get it here. And there's a reason for that, because if we brought him here, I think they're going to crush the market. They're going to crush the market. These are not cheap looking cars. They're not crappy cars. And I said earlier that it crushes Tesla. Not that Tesla's not great, but inside of those vehicles, what they have works in a way that is just insane. China's going to have a tough time getting in here, not only for the manufacturing side of it, but also because it's China. We already, we're banning, we banned some of their cell phone companies. We banned certain, because the fear of them spying, because we know they do. You want to know how we know? Because we spy on them. That's what we do. And that's what they do. But having this kind of access, it isn't going to happen. It isn't. But doesn't mean you can't get them. And that's what people are doing. They're going to Canada. They're going to Mexico. And they're picking them up. And when we talk about price, because we care about price, and the average price of a car is through the roof, or a truck, or an SUV. And when you're talking about the average payment being $700-800, it's just, I watch these, the TikToks where I follow some people, some of them local here. They work at some of the dealers, and they go into the dealerships and they ask people, hey, how much, what kind of car do you drive? And, what's your payment? And sometimes you get somebody who goes, they work there, they sell cars, like, I got a 1994, just something that's just cheesy. And they're like, oh, but I have no payment. And they're like, oh, cool. But then you get a lot of them that go, oh, I drive a 2025, whatever it is. And they're like, my payment's $1,100, $950. And you're like, God. And these things start at $25, $30 and don't move up too much from there. So, but that's just not going to happen. But that's the tariff battle he's got. And July 1st is one of those dates where he's going to have to make some decisions. And I think he'll make the right one in this. Do they make trucks? I'm not sure what BYD does make trucks, but I will tell you who does. Slate. If you guys have not seen the Slate truck, as somebody said, that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. It is a truck. Yes, it is ugly-ish. It is no frills. $24,995, I think it is. So $24,995. No electric windows. Air conditioning, heater. But if you live in North Dakota, I don't know if I chance it there. Also, they come kind of just primered. So, and for $495, you can design whatever you want on it. And this is an Amazon product. So, and if you want to go higher, up to 30,000. You could turn it into, do you remember the Broncos, like the awesome Broncos and the Scouts and things? Those things were awesome. You can turn it in the cross between the 80s Bronco and that cool 60s Bronco where you can fit 5 people. Doesn't have a ton of range. And, you know, it's 0 to 60 in 8 seconds with about 200-mile range. But at 24 grand, and it's really it's a puzzle. I mean, you can make it look like anything you want. And if you want to send them pictures of yourself, they'll, you know, for extra money, they'll put you all over it. They'll do a wrap. But when people are looking for things that are budget, and they're only doing the truck and that other thing, and again, the windows are a handle. But the two, for me, because I was talking to my son, I'm like, I think I would look at getting one. He's like, why? I go, first of all, Jack, I don't drive anywhere. I mean, you're here. I said, we went and golf last week with Matt and everything. You know, we drove, 45 minutes. I said, the last time I drove that far, you were here last year. I said, since the war began, we have maybe filled up 3 or 4 times because I'm so close to the station. So if I got this thing and was able to charge it that fast, I mean, I got it charged 200 miles. That's going to be a while. That's going to be a while. But they are kind of ugly. Yeah, they are kind of ugly. Is this truck the modern day Volkswagen thing? It might be. It might be. Oh, it's not a truck of beauty. That's what I'm saying. And it can tow some stuff. It can't tow the tuna boat, which is, we talked, by the way, Belle and I, we had a text message nice today, back and forth with Ken, he's got a memorandum of understanding for a tuna boat. And we don't know if he's got enough horsepower, because I don't think he took the Elantra to South Carolina to bring it back, which really pisses me off. So we'll see. Iran. What is going to happen and what isn't going to happen? That is the question. That is the question. Nothing at this point in time. It is going to be back and forth. There'll be issues. There won't be issues. There's going to be no issues. There'll be some issues. It'll look great one day, bad another day. That's kind of what we're going to get in the coming days and weeks with Iran. There's nothing else anybody can say, really, when you think about, you go and look at all the stuff that has happened. They closed it yesterday. They attacked the ship. That was them saying, hey, we can do what we want. We can do what we want. Now, if all is to be true as far as whether or not Hezbollah and Israel come to an agreement, that may change some things. But as at this moment, we're going to have to, because to show you today, it came back down a little bit, oil. But on the news that there was a ship attacked, oil immediately sprung up like you couldn't believe. And that shows you how fragile this thing can be and how fast it can turn. Because it can turn on a dime at any given moment. It can turn on a dime. But the Israel thing that's a big deal.
So as I said today, as I told all the parties here today, it's the beginning of the beginning. There's a lot of work ahead. We don't in any way underestimate the difficulty of the task ahead. But we understand the importance of it, how vital it is.
And it's vital. You know, it's a weird thing, Hezbollah. So if you guys don't know anything about Lebanon, it's not as Christian as it used to be, but the president's a Christian. There's still about 30% of the people are Christian, and they've got 2 different versions of Islam there. So it is not this, it's just an all Islam place. That's not what it is. They can't stand Hezbollah, people of Lebanon, in the northern part, Beirut, areas like that. They recognize at times the need in the past for Hezbollah because they don't trust Israel. They don't. And so as much as they aren't fans of Hezbollah, they recognize the enemy of my enemy can push back in the fear of them expanding. And there's no doubt that, we can sit here and pretend that none of that stuff was ever going to happen. Israel does it. They're no joke. They don't mess around. We recognize that. All of us do. But the expansion, they ignored Trump not to go into Gaza. They continued to go into Gaza. Not to go anywhere in Lebanon, and they did. Then they told him, don't go to Beirut, and they did. And that's when, Trump had that thing with Bibi. And by the way, the guy that is running and surging, and I mean surging, up the polls against Bibi, Gotti is not Gandhi. And he makes Bibi look like he's the kind of guy that's like, yeah, we'll nuke him. Let's do it today. First day kind of fear. Because his whole thing is punish until there's no more. Punish them again. Continue to punish them. And, you don't want this thing to explode anymore. So Trump is probably thinking, oh, my God, what's this guy going to do? Don't know. We'll see. But good start, framework. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Somebody sent something in earlier because the Epstein, I told you guys, Epstein's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. That stuff is there. It is not going anywhere. And even if Trump was to go away today, it is going to be sitting there. And so the judge ordered yesterday to continue to unredact stuff. Then
this one has the potential to be the most groundbreaking.
But 2 hours later, Comer said billionaire Leon Black refused to answer questions about non-disclosure agreements. Comer said his committee has now subpoenaed Black for his testimony and for the NDAs. The private equity magnate told the panel he had no knowledge of Epstein's heinous conduct. The top committee Democrat Robert Garcia says this.
Jeffrey Epstein would not have been able to commit the horrific crimes without the support of Mr. Black.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
And I will tell you, if you guys don't know anything about Leon Black, he is all of the. When you were to describe in central casting, give me somebody that is as scummy as you can find, the old dirty man around all the young girls. This is that guy. And to say that I didn't know anything is crap. It's absolute crap. And people should recognize that 100%, how bad this guy is. And here we go again with it starting to pop up, and he's not saying anything, and that's fine. At least they're trying to do something. But go back and say, remember, this was all going to be released. This was all going to be handled. And then out of nowhere, it disappeared, and it was like, oh, it was just Prince Andrew, Lord Mountainbottom, I like to call him, and Ghislaine. That was it, which we all know is BS. So we'll see what happens here. That guy's got a lot of money, but a scumbag to say the least. All right, coming up, we're going to wrap it up. Matt, are we good? Are we not good? We got everything sorted out in there, boys?
Yeah, we should be good.
The spaceship. They're having issues with the spaceship. We're going to land it, though. We promise you that. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. We're efforting to get Matt. Oh, we got Matt? Matt!
Efforting?
Well,
Efforting?
Trust me, there's been a little chaos here, okay?
Well, chaos abounds. What's going on, Chad?
Hey, where are you today?
I'm at Twin Creeks Marina. We've been here before when we've done this type of thing. Yeah, out at Timms Ford Lake.
Yeah, Timms Ford Lake. That's where I was like, is he out at the lake?
Tennessee. Yeah, out at the lake. Man, it's beautiful out here, boy. I wish you were here, Chad.
Me too.
Chadley, if you were here, I would throw you right in the lake.
You know what? I'd be fine with that. With the weather?
Yes.
So, no lightning though, right? Because there could be some storms. No lightning.
No stormies, no lightning, perfect weather, never storms on the lake. Curb, you're giving Kirby a heart attack right now. It's all good, Curb.
Yeah.
It's all good. That was not a forecast nor a prediction. That was just a question.
Oh man, that's awesome. So what's going? So are you on a boat? Did they give you a boat yet?
Not on a boat. The boat tomorrow though. I'll be out on a boat tomorrow. We're going to stay the weekend.
What kind of boat you getting?
A little pontoon, a little Bennington action.
Nice.
Oh yeah, just tool about the lake. Have a couple of libations and enjoy what God hath given us. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh man, that sounds so good. And they got the restaurant. They got food,
so
frivolity, and sunshine.
Young Jackson is down here, Chad, and I have given him the information that he needs regarding the pickle and bacon pizza.
Okay, good.
Which is so good.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Has he got a restraining order against some of the ladies yet?
Not yet, but he did run them off. There was a bunch of them. I mean, you see that Jackson ran all the women off, the young ladies. Yeah, he did run. He has run them off. Yeah.
So
what's going on in the world? I've done absolutely no show prep, so this should be fun.
Kind of a deal between Hezbollah and Israel and Lebanon.
Yeah.
A little bit of that. What else are we talking about today? You know what? We talked about.
Should we? No, the big question is, Chad, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but the big question is, and I'm sure you've answered it for your audience, but I want to know, for Matt Murphy, last night shouldn't worry us at all, right?
No, zero worries.
Okay.
Zero worries.
It should have been a tie. But
we should have. We missed some opportunities where we should have probably gone ahead and not looked back, but we didn't have any of our. We had 2 starters in. The rest were all subs. Most of those guys aren't going to play the rest of the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried at all about any of this. And Turkey, they should have been. They were the it team that people were picking to go a long way, and they failed. That was the best they have looked the entire time. And they've got a kid who set up the goals and scored the first one, who is one of the top 5 players in the world. So I'm not worried. Not worried, brother.
Very good.
We're good. I'm watching the game right now.
How many substitutions? Help me understand this. So what are the rules on substitutions?
Once you're out, you're out.
Okay, but you can sub as many people as you want.
5. You get 5.
Okay, you get 5 subs. Okay.
Yep. So
there has to be a stoppage in play to sub.
Yeah, you dress 23 players, and you get only 5 subs.
Okay.
So, and once you're out. Now, they have a new rule that they put in a few years ago that is a concussion rule, where if they're testing somebody for concussion, they'll allow you to bring a sub on and not count that against you. But otherwise you only get 5.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so if they believe someone's been, as they say, concussed,
yes.
Then yes.
By the way, I've seen a couple of them in this World Cup. There was one where I'm like, there's no way that guy should be in the game.
Right. But they don't want him out, so they're like, he's just wandering around.
One of them was the American kid. He got hammered in the game against Australia, and I'm like, there is no way that guy should be out there.
That's awesome.
So you did no show prep.
I feel good. I feel good. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We got Friday going on at 4:00. We've got a few other things to talk about. I mean, of course, there's an anticipation that we'll get a Supreme Court ruling on birthright citizenship, and who knows when that's coming down. If it's come down already, I apologize.
No, it has not. I keep looking.
I've been away from the. Hey, kudos to our IT team, by the way, around here at Cumulus Media, because I've been locked out of my. I did something in Winchester, Tennessee, on my laptop computer that they didn't like, and so they just shut me down. And I'm not being facetious. I actually do appreciate it. So I was like locked out of my computer, locked out of all things Cumulus, and have been for the last hour. So we'll see if that comes back up at some point.
Well, you know what? It's the good news is you're out at the lake.
Oh, man. It's so gorgeous out here. Y'all come see us.
Absolutely.
Timms Ford Lake, Winchester, Tennessee, Twin Creeks Marina. Come on. Chad, you could be here in an hour and a half. Let's go.
I might pick up Jack and we'll swing on down.
Let's make it happen.
All right, brother. You have a good one. Have a good weekend and have fun out there pontooning.
We'll see you.